Hey, welcome guys. So this video is going to just exclusively be gentle moves. It's going to be aimed at relaxing. It's going to be aimed at stretching. There probably won't be any times where we really get your heart going high. We are not even going to get off the mat. So this is definitely a video that can be done by everybody. It's just going to make your spine and your hips and your shoulders feel good. Bring a little bit of nutrition into your body with some deeper breathing. So let's get going today. We're going to sweep our arms up and breathe in. And we're going to let our hands come down as we breathe out. We're just going to do this once or twice more to really center ourselves into beginning our practice, bringing our minds onto this mat, starting to lengthen our breath deeper than the shallow breathing we've been doing as we're distracted living our days. Breathing in last time, moving the arms. And exhaling, hands just right down to heart center. Now I'd like you to place your thumb knuckles on your heartbeat. I'd like you to sit up nice and tall through the crown of the head, so we do have a slight dip in the chin, so we're not elevating the forehead. The shoulders are rolling down the back body, almost as though you're sliding your shoulder blades down onto the back ribs. Your inner thighs are relaxed, and we're just feeling the heartbeat on the thumbs. Breathing in. And breathing out. Our first challenge in our practice is to exclusively breathe and not fidget and not get distracted in your mind and then just say to yourself, well, I'll wait till the real class starts and she begins to move. But right now class has begun and we're starting to set a nice foundation through our deep breathing, creating an environment in the body that'll be more receptive when we do layer movement, or in yoga, asana, into our practice. One more breath, letting the tension of your jaw, your lips and your forehead drain out of your body with your exhale. And let's start to sweep our arms up again, inhaling. And exhaling, hands down the middle. And then we're going to make it a little bigger. Let's inhale our arms back. Broaden the chest. You can feel your chest open as you draw your knuckles toward each other. And then place your palms together. Press the fingertips forward and pull the heart back, feeling your shoulder blades separate. Bending your elbows, drawing your hands to your armpits, opening your knuckles backwards, opening the chest. Exhaling, palms come together in the middle, fingertips forward, heart and belly out through the back door of the spine. Again, inhaling, opening the chest by retracting the arms. Exhaling, stretching the upper back by reaching the arms. Now let's sweep our arms up high on this inhale and sit tall. And then exhale, let's put our hands on the ground in front of us and just walk a little bit forward. So your hands are providing support, but also the further the arms reach forward, the longer the stretch through the length of the spine that those arms are connected to. Most of us feeling this stretch cascading down into the lower back and perhaps even out the side of the external hips and thighs. Taking a breath into your upper back like you're inflating your book bag. And as you breathe out, let's start to find our calming Ujjayi pranayama. So pranayama is our breath control, and Ujjayi means ocean. And so our exhale, we're going to hear it in our ears. It's almost as though we're going to taste our breath in our throat, and it's going to have an audible quality to it. That's a resonation of the vocal cords, which also activates and heightens what's called the vagal tone. The vagus nerve, a very important nerve that comes from your brain stem down, actually ending in the gut. Let's come back on up. Take our left leg out in front of us. And this would be a great time, if you have a strap, to go ahead and grab that strap. We didn't discuss this at the beginning of class. So if you don't have one, that's fine. And if you have maybe a leash or a karate belt instead, anything that won't stretch or rip, that'd be fine. So we're going to put it, if we're using it, on the ball of the foot, and with a palm up grip, we're going to start to walk our throat forward, keeping the elbows pretty bent. Or if we don't want to use a strap or have a strap, we're just supporting ourselves with our hands on the ground and reaching that throat forward. If you do have a strap and you'd like to pause the video and go get it, just come on back and join us when you're ready. If you're staying with me with or without a strap, let's breathe in for 5. And as we breathe out, let's not put a numeric limit on how long we breathe out. And let's hear that exhale in our ears. Let's taste that warmth of the exhale in our throat. The Ujjayi breath is a slight constriction of the glottis in the back of the throat. It feels like you're just shy of doing this. Just shy of that in the throat. Let's come back up. Let's bend this left leg. Keep the right leg bent, but bring it in just a little bit more so that your left foot is in front of the right shin, and we're going to sit up tall. Hold your left knee with your right hand. Reach your left arm high, high, high. Let it heighten the spine. Grow tall. Now rotation to the left, using your right arm as a bit of help, and then putting your left hand right up against your tush, sitting tall. So this starts to stretch a little bit less into the left leg and a little bit more into the rotation through the middle of the spine, the top of the lumbar spine, the lower back, and real deep into the thoracic spine, the mid-back. This also is helping to wring out our digestive tract, help keep the digestive juices flowing. Let's come back to center, lengthen both legs forward, reach our hands up high. Exhaling, just putting your hands on your thighs or knees and reaching your throat. We get far less benefits from caring how far we walk our hands forward than elongating the spine forward. Because when we elongate the spine, it means that we're not rounding the spine. So the hinge of our fold is at the hips where we want it. And then that way the muscles at the hips, just below the hips is your hamstrings, and just above the back hips is your lower back. And we want those two areas to receive the stretch. So don't diffuse it by rounding your shoulders in order to get the ego that lives in your forehead closer to your shins. That's incorrect. Let's come on back up and bend our left leg. Now we've got that right leg primed for a hamstring stretch. Using your strap along the ball of the foot with the palms facing up, or choosing not to use the strap, and walking forward until we simply find enough. And that's an important concept. Simply finding enough. The concept of moderation from our yamas and niyamas, which are one of the limbs on the tree of yoga. Within the yamas and niyamas, we have what's called brahmacharya, and that's moderation. And so we're being moderate with our breath. We are lengthening it so that it's not too shallow, but we're not going to an extreme of holding our breath or causing our body any undue stress. We're being moderate in our stretch. We want to feel heightened awareness. We want to feel that there's some effort, but not pain. And so moderation isn't about missing anything. It's in fact about going all the way to the top of the bell curve of enjoyment, but then not plummeting down the other side. So we're just trimming off right before we enter into the perils of excess. Let's come on back up and bend this right leg. We're going to take the left leg in just a little closer. Bring the right foot in front of the left shin. Sit up tall. Left hand across the body on the right knee, and then reach your right arm up higher, reaching your spine up higher. Rotation gently to the right, using a small amount of left arm strength. Right hand on the ground, very close to your tush, propping you up. If your back hand is back a few inches, you're going to be tilted or slouched into it. So make sure you can feel your pants on your right thumb. The head is high at the crown. Remember, not tilting the head back to get the ego of the forehead high, but leveling the chin for proper neck alignment. Snaking a breath through our twist, up from the tailbone, through the ribs, through the shoulders, the neck, and into the skull, and exhaling, softening and releasing from the skull down to the tail. Any tension that wasn't needed in this moment. Let's come back to center. Let that right leg go to the side and find a comfortable position for your body. Sweeping our arms up again, inhaling. Exhaling, arms down and head higher. This time reaching our arms up. And then exhaling, giving yourself a hug with your left arm in front, but don't round, don't drop the front ribs into the belly. Sit up tall. So when we hug with the left arm on top, let's relax the neck, relax the jaw. You can start to walk your fingertips toward each other and feel as you're inflating your backpack with a steady breath in that you're stretching the rhomboid muscles, horizontal muscles between the shoulder blades, stretching out, feeling good on your spine. Now, this move is accessible to all of us, and we all need a hug every day. So most of us will stay here, whereas some of us may choose to keep the left elbow stacked on the right elbow and turn the fingers upward, drawing knuckles toward each other into our Garuda Hasta, into our eagle arms. So you can keep pressing the knuckles toward each other. You can hook a thumb and a pinky or a palm and a palm. Let's all make sure we haven't dropped the front ribs into the belly. So lifting them up, level chin. And if you have your palms touching and still require more, you could raise your fingertips, your left fingertips, just a little higher, and or very slowly dip the forehead toward the left bicep. Let's really concentrate on breathing and stretching those shoulder blades apart from each other without collapsing our spine into a C curve, but keeping it nice and tall like a capital I. Releasing any clenched jaws or pursed lips. We'll release our arms and sweep up. Exhale, fold forward. Gently support your arms, feel the back bend and stretch. We're going to make it a little dramatic through some seated cat and cows here. Inhale, arms up, sweep them back behind you, lift the chest. Exhale, bend the spine forward. So like I said, a little bit of a dramatic cat and cow. Cow is when we allow our back to extend into a back bend, and cat is where we round it forward. So let's try this one more time. Pushing down into your legs, feeling the strength of the hips and core, stretching the heart, a gentle tilt back of the chin, and then leveling the chin, arms come up, and we fold forward last time. Let's just walk our hands right and left a little bit, feeling that stretch on the hips, on the tush, on the lower back. Depending how long your arms are, you may even feel the stretch along the triceps. Maybe the lats, the latissimus dorsi, the swimmer muscles, the wings. And then let's come on back up, sweeping the arms up, breathe in. Exhaling, self-hug with your right arm on top now. So we're walking our fingers toward each other a little bit. We're lifting the ribs out of the belly. We're leveling the chin and letting the mouth soften. Dedicating our energy right now to inhaling and expanding the shoulder blades. Exhaling, hearing our breath in our ears, tasting the warmth of the breath maybe. It's like you're fogging up a mirror in front of your face, whether your mouth is open or closed. You can stay right here, accessible to everyone. Feels good to get a hug. Or you can have your right arm still on top of the left at the elbow. And then draw backs of hands, thumb and pinky, or palm and palm together. Remember, if you still require more sensation, you could lift those right fingertips a little higher and or softly drop the chin to the chest. Let's all think of our lower front ribs and lift them up out of the belly. Breathing in, feeling your whole torso like a barrel, expanding wide, expanding forward, expanding backward. Now please don't push yourself into any poses that are not meant for your body. For instance, in this pose for specifics, if your humerus bone, your upper arm bone, is shorter and then your forearm bones are longer, it will be impossible for you to touch elbows. It will also be impossible if you have a broader sternum or if you have a larger chest. So make sure that you're only in the pose that works for your body. Meeting our bodies where they're at. No forcing, no judgment. Let's sweep the arms up. We're breathing in. And our legs in front of us. We're going to hold on to our knees and just walk ourselves all the way on back to laying down. When you get back there, you might choose to take your strap with you. I have a little bit of a blanket here. I might use it later if I get cold. But on our backs, we're just rocking side to side. This is such a simple move, but so good for the lower back. Inhaling as you rock one way. Exhaling as you rock the other way. So let's place our right foot on the ground, our left ankle on the right knee, our right palm on the left knee, and guide this leg configuration over for a nice twist to the right. Let's put our left hand on our ribs or on our abdomen and just breathe, letting the neck and jaw relax. If you need a little bit more stretch, your elbow, your top elbow, could drape back toward the mat. If you still need more, the whole arm could straighten out and drape back toward the mat. Your head could be turned right, up, left, whatever feels best for your neck and anything that doesn't hurt or limit your breathing. Taking this nice twist into our spine, into the muscles that surround the spine, and also through the digestive organs. Using your power to breathe to keep your mind anchored in the moment so we don't run away somewhere else so often, but also using the breath to expand our stretch, lifting and stretching those right ribs. Breathing in and breathing out. Now we're going to come on back, keeping our ankle crossed over the knee. We're going to let the legs, after we do a little hip lift and shift, we're going to let the legs go to the other side. So now you can see and feel that you're not twisted in the abdomen anymore. Although your booty, your back, and perhaps even your shoulder did come up off the ground, it's a little bit more focused into the lower side by the hip, down that hip and down the thigh. On the outside of the outer thigh, we have those abductors, we have the vastus lateralis, we have that IT band, everything getting some nice space right now, especially if you're staying focused with your purposeful inhales, patient and purposeful. And you're really committed to helping the muscular tension ebb out of the body with your long exhales that are very releasing, as though each exhale is sending a raft away from the island of you, placing everything on that raft you want to see go, and exhaling so long that raft doesn't wash back in on the next wave. And then we're going to come back to center. We're going to come back to our knee hug because we're probably feeling a little residual something going on in our back and hips. And we know right away when we hug the knees, everything's going to feel better. Let's do the other side now. So we're going to put our second foot on the ground, ankle over knee, cross body hold of the kneecap, and then guiding into the twist. You can let your whole arm drape back. You could let just the elbow drape back, or it may feel best just to leave our arm on the torso and focus on the twist below the waistband and out to the knee. Your head could be looking any direction that feels right for not only the neck muscles, but to allow the breathing. Finding our moderation. Breathing in and breathing out. You want to start to let your whole mouth soften. Letting the molars part and the tongue float somewhere in the mouth. You're not even really sure where your tongue is. Breathing in and out through the nose if your nasal passages will allow you. It's a cleaner breath through the windscreens that we obviously don't have through the tubes of the throat. Also breathing in through the nose, they're much smaller holes.
So you're not able to do the dysfunctional habit many of us have of gulping in. So we have to be real slow, which again provides the therapeutic component to the nervous system. Then we'll come back to the center, leaving the same leg crossed. And this time we're just going to do a little lift and shift of the hips the other way, and then let the legs fall to the side. So right now, the side that I feel the stretch on, from the thigh and the hip and a little bit up into the lower side of the torso, I don't have the tush on the ground, I don't have the back on the ground, my shoulder may or may not end up touching. And it's okay to feel as though you've lost contact with the ground in your lower half because we're so heavy with our exhales in the chest. Our arms are nice and draped, and so we feel the grounding on the top half, even when we feel a little unstable in the stretching lower half area. Breathing in through your nose very slowly. And you're going to have to breathe out even slower. You're going to give yourself a headache if you're really trying to force the air out. It's like breathing too forcefully out through a coffee stirrer. So we're just letting it be slow, knowing that the tubes we're using are smaller. Again, relaxed forehead and throughout the whole structure of the facial muscles. And then we'll come back to center. Let's give our knees a hug right here, rocking side to side. Rocking side to side. We're going to place our feet on the ground and we're going to start to lift our tush up into a shoulder bridge. And then we're going to tuck the pelvis toward the face so we can even get the lower back down before the tush. So we're going to come up with our toes spread. We're pressing into the heels. And then we're going to tuck the pelvis to the face, put the lower back down before the tush. Twice more lifting, breathe in, heavy pressure in the heels, breathing out, bone by bone, down one at a time. Last time up, and this is helping to create a more supple quality to the spine, down one by one, all the way down slowly. And then let's go ahead and grab our strap. You could have a towel, as we already discussed. You could have a leash, or if you don't have any of these things, you could simply hold your own leg with your hands down much lower than the strap would touch, perhaps on the thigh. So we've hooked our strap onto our first leg. It doesn't matter which leg you choose to do first. I'm using my right leg. And then we can walk our hands only up the straps as far as our shoulders don't come up. So I've gone too high. Let's leave our shoulders relaxed on the ground. And then I don't even want to hold on too tight. So I'm going to wrap around so I don't need a big grip. I have friction. Now the leg that stays on the ground, it's going to be more moderate if it stays bent. If you want more stretch, you could slide it forward to any degree. As you can also guide your foot towards your face to any degree for a bigger stretch. The stretch is felt from the calf muscle down to the tush of our straight leg. So let me be clear, don't bend this leg to pull the foot closer to your face or you're missing the whole point. Keep the leg straight even if we don't draw the straps as far in towards our chest. Or you may just, as I did, wrap the hands and then you're not pulling at all. You're just letting your arms go dead weight. Let's push up a little bit higher with our top heel. Let's push that heel up a little higher, but then be focused to relax the sides of the neck. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling, hearing your breath, tasting the warmth, our Ujjayi pranayama, our ocean breath. Very calming to hear yourself breathing. Now, let's take our leg out to its own side. If you're using straps, the side you're going to, the hand will be higher and the other hand is lower. And we'll guide that leg on down with two different points of contact holding the strap. Or you may not want to use a strap at all. You just hold your leg. Or if you need more stretch and you have a strap, I've got some really flexible people out there watching, I'm sure. You could take the strap behind your head a little bit. That would throw a shoulder stretch in on the other side as well. So there's no need to go that far. You're only stretching as far as feels good to you, and I'll do the same. So I no longer have my hand behind my head, just enjoying a moderate stretch here, practicing brahmacharya today, moderation. Breathing in and out, and visualizing where you're feeling the most stretch, and sending your expansive breath to that area with the inhale, and then sending your releasing exhale to that area as well, so that we're not struggling against this progress. We're going to bend the knee, raise it back up with a bent knee, that's safer, bringing it back up, and then we'll switch sides. Now I want to be clear that when I hold with the opposite hand high now, the leg is straight, so don't have it bent, straight leg, and then allow it to go just 2 or 3 inches across. I want your wallet in your back pocket to stay on the mat. Don't go so far you come up like that. Keep your wallet on the ground, start with the leg straight, and just go about 2 or 3 inches across the midline of the body. Now try to search through your body and do what I call an energetic audit. On your inhale, search through your body with the inhale like a flashlight, noticing as audits do where your expenditures currently are with your energy in your body. And on your exhale, as audits often do, you may decide to reallocate your energetic expenditures, using energy more somewhere or less somewhere, or retaining the energy into an energetic savings account for later usage. And then let's come on back. We're going to bend the leg that's in the strap. We're going to hold a strap with each hand, and then you're going to imagine that I just walked up and sat on your belly. Feel me sitting on your belly, turning on your abs, pressing your back down. Slow as you're able, bring that second leg up. Slow as you're able. Feel a little core. And then we'll put the first leg down safely. Straightening our second leg, we'll decide how high to hold the straps. We don't want the shoulders to come up, so not too high. You can use your grip, or you can wrap, which is easier for your fingers. Don't hold so high your knee is bent, just let it be straight. Then decide how bent or straight you'd like the second leg, the one on the ground, and then breathe in. Maybe a light lift to the head, a chin tuck, and then put the head back down. If you have a wrap on your hands, just let the arms go dead weight. If you require more sensation, don't bend the knee to do so, but you could just a little bit guide the foot toward the face. Breathing in. And breathing out. Feels really good to get yourself completely empty, especially when what you're letting go of is things you don't need anymore. Your air's already been harvested of all the nutrients. Let it go. Now, we're going to hold with the same hand of the leg that's up high, the other hand down low, and we're only going to go to the leg's own side as far as feels enjoyable. Doesn't have to go all the way to the ground at all. It can go all the way to the ground. It could be on the ground closer to your feet. It could be on the ground closer to your hip. You could take the opposite hand up above your head if you need more stretch. The hand is on the ground. It's just behind the head. Make sure you're only going somewhere that's enough for you. So even if you can do something, doesn't mean you always have to. You've got nothing to prove. Breathing in. And breathing out. You have nothing else to do today but breathe out. All the way until you feel very empty. When you can remember, our exhales are our Ujjayi pranayama. Our exhales are audible in the ears, reverberative in the vocal cord, calming or heightening the vagal tone. When your vagal tone is higher, the vagus nerve is stimulated more. You exist more in your rest and digest nervous system. Interestingly, the Ujjayi pranayama does that. So does singing. Okay, another way to get that resonation in your vocal cords. There's deep breathing as well, is calming. Whether you do the Ujjayi pranayama and can hear your breath or not, deep breathing is controlled by the diaphragm, and that is another way to stimulate the vagus nerve. Because remember, I told you it goes from the brainstem all the way down and ends in the gut. So it goes through the diaphragm on its way. Let's bend the leg, safely bringing it back up, switching which hand is higher. Now we have the opposite arm highest. Keep your wallet on the ground. Keep the leg straight. Don't hold too high. Keep your back pocket wallet on the ground and just go 2 or 3 inches across the body. Maybe a chin tuck. Maybe you need to let the sides of your cheeks melt down the jaws toward the earlobes. Breathing in, feeling your belly inflate, your chest inflate, your collarbones, your throat, your skull. Exhaling from skull all the way down through the neck and shoulders, deflating the chest, deflating the belly, ending in the hips. Alrighty, let's let that second leg go now. Put your strap down if you were using it. Hug your knees. Roll through the ankles. You want to move through your ankles in all the way they were designed to move every day so the muscles that cause that movement don't atrophy. So let's roll the other way now. Roll the other way in your ankles. Now, flex and point your ankles. Press on the gas pedal, press on the brake. Now, wave high to me with one foot. Hello, side to side. Wave high with the other foot. Side to side. Hello. And then you can either roll up, or I don't really have the energy for that, so I'm going to lay on my side and press up. Let's meet in cats and cows on our hands and knees. So we've tended a little bit to the legs, to the hips. We twisted a little bit in the spine. That felt good. And now we're coming into dropping the belly, looking up, breathing in, exhaling, pressing the earth away, head dangles, navel coils up. One more. And on this exhale, the navel coils up, and then we sit back into child's pose. So for child's pose, your knees can stay together, or they can open up to any degree. Your head may not comfortably touch the ground, especially if we're feeling a little tighter in the back today. So I usually use a forearm pillow, or if I need a little extra height, I make a stacked fist column. No matter what, you want your neck to be able to relax too, so place your head on something. Breathing in, feeling those rhomboids between your shoulder blades. You remember those horizontal muscles between the two shoulder blades opening up on the upper back. And then exhaling, hearing your breath, tasting your breath, maybe even visualizing the ocean. Letting your lips dangle like they're heavy bottom feeder fish, heavy puffy fish. So your mouth feels like mine sounds. Breathing. When we come to child's pose, it's not only a great stretch for tighter areas of our hips and lower back, but it's also very calming, not just due to the forehead pressure, not just due to the longer breathing we try to bring to Balasana with us. That's your child's pose. But also because even subconsciously, your body knows that its vital organs are protected. A little bit more release can occur. We're going to switch this now to the exact opposite of child's pose, which you'll notice and feel was stretching us from tag of shirt to tag of pants. Now we're going to come up so that our hips are on top of the knee, vertical thighs, not diagonal like this, not diagonal like that, vertical thighs. And then we're going to start to arc the back instead of rounding it, dropping the belly, dropping the chest, and eventually putting your head down last. But I want to be clear that there's a feeling of a peacock tail and a heavy, heavy, heavy belly. And then the mechanics of this pose are that the longer your arms go, the more stretch you'll feel in your lats and in your triceps. However, you'll feel less stable in the pose. So if that's okay with you and you enjoy the stretch, longer arms. But if you feel unstable, bend the elbows more. You might miss a little bit of the shoulder and arm stretch, but that's okay. Feeling safe is always our priority. Only when we feel safe are we able to get those extremely healing and calming breaths. In this case, in this position, we're going to feel our inhale expanding our ribs wide laterally to the side walls. And on our exhale, we're just going to feel like our heart and belly button have two heavy nautical anchors tied to them. And on our exhale, we're just seeing those anchors sink through water resistance. Even though we don't have a lot of room for breathing, we're still able to breathe. And then we're going to come back to our hands and knees again. Let's get a little bit of movement through the limbs. We're going to lengthen out our right arm and left leg. Then we're going to put them back down. Under their armpit, under their hip. Left arm, right leg, long, long, long. Stretching out. And back down. This time, right fingertips touch the ground. Left big toe touches the ground. Try to land gently. It's actually harder to touch. And then gently land your hand and knee again. Gently touching left fingertip and right big toe. Gently landing the paw and knee back in. Let's try it one more time, either in the air for a longer stretch, or touching fingertips and toes for a little more core strength. One more time on the other side, lengthening out in the air or tapping, we breathe in. Exhaling, we all come back to hands and knees together. Let's have a seat on our tush. Whew. Alrighty, hopefully that felt good. So let's come back to our breathing. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, lean to your side. I don't care which side. Oh, crack, snap, crackle, pop. Inhale up. Exhale, lean. Let's do the same, only maybe make it a smidge bigger. What if we leaned, but then we took our peace sign fingers and we just drew a circle with them, and we got that nice rotation through the upper back and shoulder. And then we tried the other side. So we're inhaling, arms up, and letting our own exhale be a circle. Remember, just moderation, not too much. Inhale up. And our last time. There we go. Now let's get into the neck. This is one of my favorite ways to stretch the neck. I'm going to turn around so it's easier to understand. So you're going to place your right watch on your left back belt. Your left hand is going to hold the right hand there anyway. Hold fingers, hold the wrist, interlace the fingers, I don't care. Sitting up tall, we'll breathe in. And then breathing out, we'll just allow our head to lean toward the hands. Now, taking our hand over to the hip helped us to lower the shoulder cap. So that when we leaned our head, we didn't just feel the stretch between the ear and the crease where the neck meets the torso, but all the way down to the shoulder cap. You may feel nice if you give your chin a little dip toward the collarbone. That may get into the back of your neck stretch that feels nice. If not, go back, shoulder, again in the middle. And let's come back up. Okay, so now left hand on your right back belt.
Your right hand holds your left hand there in some way. And then your head leans toward the hands, which are currently on the right. So I'm going to turn to the side now. And then you can leave your head just right in the middle on the shoulder. Or if you want to stretch a little bit less on the side and middle, a little bit more into the back of the neck you're stretching, dip your chin slightly toward the right collarbone. Feeling the stretch on the back of the left neck. We're not forcing our chin anywhere. We're allowing the heavy head to go to gravity. That's it. We're letting go. Come on, back up. And now we're going to massage our necks with our own fingertips. Take maybe 3 or 4 of them on each hand. And then just start at the back of the skull, at the hairline. And massage around the back of the skull, over the tops of the ears. And then maybe down through the neck shaft. Whatever feels right to you. That feels good. And then we're going to come back to sweeping our arms again. Breathing in. And let's lean to a side. I don't care which. Coming on up. And over to the other side. We're in no rush. Back up. Breathe in. Again, lean to the side, but we're going to draw that circle with the peace sign fingers. Exhale around. When your hand gets to your shins, both arms up. And exhale the second arm around and use the peace sign fingers to make a whole circle. And back up. All right, let's shake those arms out. We're going to draw back on our fingertips on the right hand, feeling the fingers stretch, the palm up into the bulbous part of the wrist, up into the forearm. You can keep the elbow of the arm you're stretching bent, or you can straighten it. Try a little bit of both and see which feels better. Relax your toes and your jaw. Then we're going to switch sides, shaking maybe the water off our fingertips, getting a nice roll and movement through the ankle, or through the wrists. And then we'll draw back on our second hand. Elbow could be bent or straight. Play around with both. Use moderation. We're not trying to hurt ourselves. If you hold lower on the finger pads, what do you feel? If you hold up a little higher on the fingers, what do you feel? Different sensations. One's going to simply feel right to you. Nothing's beginner or advanced. So get a little curious. Play around in there. And then let's shake our arms out. Okay, we're going to go on to our back again. And what we're going to do on our back is going to get into stretching our hips a little bit more. And then we will be done. So let's roll onto our backs again. Side to side, side to side, side to side. Okay, so into our hips, we're going to cross one ankle over a knee. We're going to push that inner thigh away with its own hands first. Get a stretch to the front of the hip. Then we're going to hold the leg being crossed over. Most of us had to bring our head up to grab that leg, so put it back down. If you can't put your head back down, you probably didn't need to hold your leg today. This cross would have been enough stretch. So we can stay right here. Just breathe into that hip and focus on exhaling out, just dripping all the tension out. If you are, however, holding your leg and you still need more, you can hold the shin. And that's going to be a bigger stretch. I have to go back to holding the thigh. I think the shin's a little too much for me. However, just holding the thigh instead of the shin, I could also raise the foot a little and or lean away from the stretch. Anything that feels good for each of us as an individual. Breathing in through the nose. Breathing out, hearing, tasting, feeling your breath. Visualizing which ocean you're staring at. Somewhere you've been, somewhere you've only seen in pictures. And then stop. Before we go to the other side, we're going to knee hug. We're going to rock side to side.
And then we're going to start to let the knees open a little bit into a V of thighs. You may even stop rocking at a certain point and go into a happy baby. You can hold the backs of the knee creases. Happy baby is kind of like you're a sumo wrestler on your back, right? You can hold your knee creases. You can hold your shins or calves. You can hold your ankles. You can hold your feet. You can even take your peace sign fingers and hold your big toes, placing each thumb pad on the big toenail. And you can move side to side. You could be still. You can straighten your legs. You can fall over. It really doesn't matter. You're a baby. You're in your crib. You've simply discovered that you have legs. And if you move them around, how does it feel? Do you find a spot that you like, that you'd like to stay still in? Or just that lubricating movement in the joints feel nice? So we're all very different on different days. And then let's come back to that second leg. So ankle over knee on the second side, pressing away to start with, opening up the front of the hip socket. Exhale out. Soften your throat and shoulders, your collarbones. And then if you feel that you need more, hold the leg being crossed over. If you had to raise your head, put it back down. Side to side. Till you find a nice spot and you sit still. You could hold the shin. You could hold the leg. You could raise the foot. And or you could lean. Head down. Make sure the back of your neck isn't too crunched up with the chin jutted up like you're dry heaving. You want to tuck the chin so you have back neck length. That not only feels better muscularly, but the back of the neck is where the blood and the nerves flow. We don't want to compress that area. One more breath with me, breathing in. And as you exhale, hear your breath and feel the melt. Let's place both feet on the ground and raise our hips up. You should be able to wiggle your shoulders. You're not too high on the shoulders or neck. If your toes are facing wide, point them to the short side of the front of the mat. Squeeze the tush up high. Try to keep the knees facing forward like headlights, not diagonally, so your knees are at hip width. One more deep breath here. We're getting a lot of that oxygenated blood flow up to the glands of the neck, the brain tissue, even filling the top ventricles of the heart that don't usually fill to capacity. And then slowly coming back down. We're going to place our feet together and let the knees open into our final pose of butterfly. Or in this position, laying on our back, it's called Supta Baddha Konasana. Now, if you have tight inner thighs, bringing your feet closer and your knees will therefore be wider is where you should be. But if you do this fairly easily, you don't feel anything much happening. I don't know if you need it on the inner thighs. Maybe you need a stretch on the outer thighs. And if so, slide your feet further forward. Not so far that you can't let go. So play around with finding your spot, and you're going to feel that right here on the outer hips and into your glutes. So your butterfly isn't always an inner thigh stretch. You can be whatever you want it to be by adjusting your own feet. Breathing in. Breathing out. One more breath here. And then let's close those knees up. Hug your knees in. Notice what you're feeling in your back. As you rock side to side and hug your knees, does anything that you were feeling that you didn't really like go away? And if so, remember that, so that when you don't like what you're feeling in your back, you know exactly where to come, and you don't even need a whole class, just on your back, on your carpet, or on your mat. Alrighty guys, so you can roll on up if you'd like. Again, I'm a little low energy today, so I'm going to lay on my side and push up. It's okay to honor what your energy levels are. And we're going to take a few breaths together and you'll be all done. Arms up. Hands on your knees, coil your belly in. Again, pull your heart through your arms and up. And exhale back again. And then let's sit up tall here with our hands on our knees and move our ribs around in a way that, if you're not a belly dancer, might be unusual. We're going to move the ribs one side, the other side, forward, backward, a little circle with the ribs. Make sure you're trying to have your ribs be the mover more than your shoulders or head. Just moving it around a little bit more. Breaking up some of those adhesions and stiffnesses. And then sit up tall. Your shoulder blades slide down onto your back ribs. Your chin is level. Placing our thumbs back onto our heart rate again. Bowing our face toward our fingers. Just feeling that heart rate connecting. Knowing yourself. Hopefully it feels nice and steady. Or if it doesn't, we can try some steady breathings and see that we can control our own heart rate. Very powerful. I thank you for practicing with me today, for using your moderation, for breathing well, and just bringing a wellness to the body without any expectations. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.